Taurus, destiny is knocking on the door of your stability. Someone or something you were once deeply invested in is about to return, and with them, the end of an old foundation. But this isn't just a prediction, it's a sacred ritual of change. Are you ready to face the truth about the self-worth you deserve to acknowledge? If this resonates with you, leave a comment below with one word that describes how you're feeling right now. Let's begin this grounded journey together. Taurus, you're not just another zodiac sign. You're the one who builds foundations when others give up, the one who senses the ground shifting before it even trembles. Your steadfastness isn't just a personality trait. It's a quiet strength, gifted by the universe to souls who've lived through lifetimes of building and protecting. You carry the weight of loyalty, of persistence, and that's why you often feel so tired, as if you're shouldering the responsibility for the world. You understand unrecognized efforts, worry about things not yet secure, and love people who never truly cherished the stability you offered. But here's the truth. Your quiet resolve, your sometimes stubborn nature, is what makes you the strongest. You've never stopped believing in your core values, no matter how many times they've been tested. And because of that silent bravery, the universe is about to bless you with solid rewards in ways you've never imagined. This gift, however, will only open when you're ready to face the shadow of the past that once felt safe, even if it was false security, ready to say goodbye to everything that's kept you stuck in an old comfort zone, and ready to step into a new version of yourself. A version that no longer needs external assurance because you've learned to build your own security. If what you're hearing right now makes your heart feel heavy, that's the first sign. Something significant is coming, not to break you, but to help you let go of what no longer serves your true growth. And when you let go, you'll hear the next whisper. Maybe you think you've already let go, that what once held you is now just a memory. But your heart doesn't lie. It still feels a pang when you think about the stability lost, still feels discomfort when someone mentions a routine, a place, or an object that once felt so dependable. Taurus, you're not weak because you haven't forgotten. You're just someone who built everything with your whole heart. There's a tenacious, almost invisible thread that still connects you to something old. Not because you haven't grown, but because you never truly had the chance to close it definitively. They left, or circumstances shifted, but they didn't take everything with them. They left behind a familiar space inside you, a space deep enough to become a fear of change. And sometimes you wonder, could it be that what's holding you back is exactly the thing you're afraid to face? Maybe you're surrounded by people or situations whose values no longer align with yours. Maybe you're still holding on to a relationship, a job, or a lifestyle out of familiarity, fear of instability, or simply because you think you should. But Taurus, you don't need to carry anything that no longer provides real value. You only need to be true to your own sense of genuine security. If you find yourself slowly losing your enthusiasm, if you feel tired from trying to maintain a connection that no longer has substance, then that's a sign. Not everyone is bad, but not everyone is sent to stay forever. Some people or situations are only sent to teach you the true value of inner stability. And here's the strangest thing. While some people or situations that aren't genuine or suitable are still beside you, there are others somewhere in this life who quietly admire your steadfastness but have never dared to say it. They see the inner strength within you, that solid, dependable glow, sometimes tinged with quiet contemplation. They're not loud, they're not trying to possess you, but they're there. and you are their inspiration for endurance, even if you don't know it. Taurus, have you ever asked yourself who or what truly supports you? Not when you're successful and stable, but when you're quiet and feeling unsteady. It's time to ask yourself that question again, because ahead, a transformation is coming. A door will open, but you cannot walk through it if you're still carrying burdens that no longer align with your heart and values. Love or commitment should not be a place where you have to sacrifice your core self. It should not force you to be silent, to yield excessively, or to change just to be accepted. True connection is a place you return to, a place where you don't have to pretend everything is fine, a place where your worth is seen and still chosen. If you're in a relationship or a familiar situation, be honest with yourself. Are you being fully appreciated for your worth, or are you slowly disappearing in the role of pleasing others, or just maintaining outward stability? And if you're alone, don't rush to believe that you are lacking. You're not lacking. You're just waiting for what is truly worthy, and that person or situation will come. Not to complete you, but to walk beside the version of you that you've already built with patience, gratitude, and quiet strength. You've sacrificed so much already, often prioritizing stability over your own needs. Now is the time the universe wants to reward your endurance. And maybe the first reward won't come in the form of love, but as an unexpected door, a solid job opportunity, a financial improvement, or an invitation that brings a sense of security you never saw coming. But you must believe that you are worthy. How many times have you tried, waited patiently, even given up what you wanted just to keep the peace or maintain stability? How many times have you put on a calm face while your heart was anxious? How many times have you chosen to be the rock so someone else could lean on you? The universe remembers it all, and now it's time to respond. Not because you demanded it, but because you planted seeds of patience and dependability in silence, and now they begin to bloom. Taurus, you don't have to pray loudly. You just need to ground yourself in your steady heart, and the right things will find their way to you. And believe me, the right things are coming. What's about to come is the final test to see if you are truly ready to move beyond who you used to be, beyond the old attachments. You thought you had moved on from them or that situation. You thought you had become stronger, had closed that door, had cleared out the space in your heart where they had stayed for far too long. But then just one dream, a name passing by, a fleeting memory in a familiar setting, and your heart feels heavy again, as if it had never truly found peace. Taurus, your soul never forgets what it was once deeply attached to. You don't connect superficially. You don't stop at momentary emotions. When you give your trust, you invest your foundation in it. And because of that, when that bond breaks, you don't just feel pain. You lose a part of your perceived security. And then when you've learned how to move on, when you've rebuilt your stability with tears, persistence, and long nights no one ever knew about, they come back. Without warning, without permission, they just show up, as if nothing had ever happened. But you know what? This time, you're different. You're no longer the one waiting hopelessly for their validation or assurance. You're no longer the one who forgives out of fear of losing what felt familiar. You're no longer the one quietly accepting instability wrapped in the guise of attachment. This time, you're the observer. You look into their eyes, still those same eyes. You hear their voice, still that same voice. But what you feel is no longer the longing to cling to them. It's a quiet, grounded peace, as if your heart is sitting down and whispering, "Finally, I am free from this dependency." Maybe they come back with an apology. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to start over or just want your forgiveness. But actually, they didn't come to continue the story. They were sent by the universe to see, do you still need them to feel secure and whole? And it is in that moment, the moment you realize you no longer need them, that you become self-sufficient. You once gave them the best part of your stability, but now you keep the best part for yourself. Taurus, you overcame what once seemed impossible. No one knows how many times you held it together in silence. No one understands the feeling of having to face the person or situation that once destabilized you. But you know, and the universe knows. That's why they came back, not to love again, but to help you complete the final ritual of release from dependency. This is not a miracle. This is a test, and you, after all, have passed it. If they ask to come back, you don't need to be angry. You don't need to condemn. Just smile, look deeply into their eyes, or face the situation squarely, and gently say with your steady gaze, "Thank you for coming. Thank you for leaving. And thank you for returning so I could know I am no longer dependent on who I used to be." And if you ever thought you couldn't live without the stability they represented, then now look back at all the days you've lived without them and how you rebuilt your own foundation. That is living proof that you are not left behind. You are being led to where you truly belong, where your worth is truly valued. Taurus, this is the ending your soul always hoped for, even if it never dared believe it would come. Not an ending with fireworks, no dramatic soundtrack, no tears or theatrical goodbyes. Just you, grounded, peaceful, and full of self-worth, walking away without looking back. Not because you didn't value the past, but because you valued it enough to learn from it. And now, you choose yourself and genuine inner stability. And then after everything you've been through, the return of the past, the final test from destiny, the sense of security shaken to its core foundations. The miracle doesn't happen outside. It happens from within you. No noise, no blinding light. Just a very quiet moment when you sit in a familiar space, silently listening to your own steady heartbeat and realize you have changed. You're no longer the one who waits for external validation. You no longer crave someone else to provide your security. You are no longer exhausted from holding on to what lacks substance. You are simply living, truly, fully, in the presence of your own grounded self. Taurus, this is something no one teaches you, but the universe has always silently led you toward it. Healing is not when you no longer feel insecure. It is when insecurity no longer controls you. Strength is not when you never waver. It is when you can waver and still stand firm in your worth. Peace doesn't come from everything being perfectly stable. It comes when you accept the things that aren't, and you no longer resist necessary change. You're entering a very sacred phase in your journey where your intuition about your true worth and genuine security becomes clearer than ever. You may feel you need more private space, a desire to connect with nature, to enjoy simple, tangible pleasures, and that is perfectly right. You're not withdrawing from the world. You're returning to your inner bedrock. Let yourself slow down. Sit under the morning sun without needing to do anything. Walk barefoot on the earth and let it tell you things your mind has never understood. Listen to soothing music and let your emotions flow, not because you're sad, but because it's been so long since you touched yourself this truthfully. Taurus, your heart is putting down deeper roots. You no longer search for someone to provide for you. You are becoming the person you've always wished to be valued by. And it is in the moment you fully embrace your own worth that real connection that comes not to possess, but to accompany and build alongside you, begins to appear. It's not rushed, not loud. You may not even realize it's arriving, but it's there. In the gaze of a trustworthy new friend, in a kind word from a stranger, in the warmth you feel when you step into a space that once made you feel empty but now makes you feel whole. True connection doesn't always come in a romantic form. Sometimes it comes in the shape of the peace and stability you create for yourself. You are becoming the most radiant and grounded version of yourself, without needing approval, without needing to prove anything, without needing to trade parts of your values away. And the most beautiful thing is, you're no longer seeking security outside. You're attracting it. When you touch the solid core within you, you begin to attract things and people who reflect that inherent worth. Taurus, you used to be someone who might have settled for less than you deserved for the sake of stability. Now you're someone who gives stability, first to yourself, then to the world, from a place of abundance. This journey hasn't been easy, but you've made it here, and you deserve every beautiful and lasting thing that's waiting. Now take a deep breath and feel what's happening inside you right now. This isn't a fleeting emotion. This is a fundamental shift. You're here now, Taurus. Can you feel it? No longer just a vague dream of lasting security. No longer the dull ache every time that old memory surfaces. No more questions like, did I make the wrong choice? Or, if I had just held on tighter, maybe things would have been different. No more of that. Only you remain, and a door, the final door. Behind it is a version of you you've never met, more firmly rooted, deeper, and far more peaceful than who you are now. But to enter it, you must choose. No one can choose for you. No advice is perfectly tailored. No one understands enough to give you the answer. Only you and your heart know your true worth. They're coming back, aren't they? That person or that situation, the face that used to represent familiarity, the voice that once soothed your need for consistency. Even the smallest gesture from them could bring a sense of comfort during those hollow days. They're coming back, and this time they seem sincere. They apologize. They say they've understood. They say they miss the stability you provided. And you hear it all, but inside, you're no longer the one who used to cling. You're no longer the one who forgives just to avoid feeling unstable. You've lived through nights shoring yourself up with no one knowing. You've learned how to find peace without external reassurance. You've stood on your own 2 feet and kept building your life. And most importantly, you no longer need them to feel secure and whole. Right now, the universe doesn't need a yes or no from you. It's only waiting to see. Will you repeat the same old cycle, seeking comfort in the familiar even if it devalues you, or will you choose to step through? This isn't temptation. This is the final test before your true blessing arrives. If you go back, everything might feel familiar, but you'll have to shrink yourself again to fit into that old mold of seeking external security. But if you walk away, you won't know exactly what's ahead, but at the very least, you'll know that this time you didn't betray your core self and your inherent worth. So, what will you choose, Taurus? You've spent years trying to build and maintain, sometimes compromising your needs for stability. You've loved steadfastly. But maybe this is the first time you can connect the right way. Connect without losing your foundation. Connect from a place of abundance, not perceived lack. Connect with awareness, not with fear of disruption. If someone asks you, what made you change, you can smile without needing to explain. Just say, I chose my self-worth. And if right now, your heart is trembling deeply, your throat tightens, your tears are about to fall, but your soul feels solid and grounded, then you know you've arrived. There's nothing left to fight for, nothing left to hold on to out of fear, nothing left to prove, only the truth of your value. And you write this down if you're ready. I let go of what no longer holds true value. I trust my inherent worth. I welcome the version of me who no longer needs external validation to feel secure. Write it as a declaration, as a ritual to end the old cycle. Because beyond this door, there is light. Not because someone comes to give it to you, but because you've become the solid ground for yourself. Taurus, you're still here. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to walk through instability without losing your core steadfastness. Not everyone makes it to this part. Not everyone dares to go as far as you have in seeking true inner security. Because this journey isn't measured by distance, but by how many times you've felt shaken and still stood up with your integrity intact. And now you're standing at a rare moment, a place no one else can go with you, a moment only your soul truly understands, a moment where you choose, not choosing someone, not choosing a job, not choosing to stay or go, but choosing to live by your soul's truth or to keep living by the fear of change. Taurus, this is not the ending. This is simply the first time you are truly beginning, without carrying anything that doesn't align with your true worth. Step forward. No need to look back, because what's waiting for you ahead is not just a reward, it's a homecoming to the unshakable ground within you. If you're still here, listening until the very last second, please know that you are the one the universe has chosen to walk through the old cycle, to heal the insecurities previous generations perhaps couldn't name, and to become a beacon of stability, not just for yourself, but for the souls around you who are quietly watching and learning how to stand firm. Not everyone can make it this far. Not everyone can hear these words without running back to false comfort. And if your heart is trembling silently but deeply, then you know what's happening right now is not just a video. It is a spiritual journey, a return to your center. A door has closed, and a new chapter of life is opening, with you as the main character, building your story on your own terms. You don't need to do anything right now, just allow yourself to stay with these feelings a little longer. Don't rush to play the next video. Don't rush to exit and return to your everyday life. Give yourself a few more minutes to feel, to remember, to breathe with your grounded soul. If any part of this video touched you deeply, share it in the comments. Not for me to read, but for you to send a signal to the universe saying, I have awakened, I have heard, and I have chosen my self-worth. Just leave one sentence if this feels true to you. I am ready to live as who I truly am, rooted in my value, free from fear. And if you feel your heart settling, if you feel as though someone has truly seen your quiet strength, then don't forget to save this video so that anytime you feel unsteady, you can come back here, like a quiet sanctuary where your soul can always find a reminder that you are enough, you are valuable, you are strong, you are Taurus, and you are chosen. Thank you for staying until the end. I wish for you not a perfect future, but a journey real enough, grounded enough, and deep enough that you no longer live as if you are running from change, but live as if you have finally come home to yourself. And if you believe someone out there also needs to hear this, please share this video with them as a gift from your steadfast soul to theirs. Because support doesn't always need to be spoken. Sometimes it only needs to be transmitted through grounded presence, and you are already doing that.